Good afternoon, and welcome to the Music and Technology Seminar at Carnegie Mellon. Our guest today is Patrick Yao, co-founder and organizer of the Athens Music Technology Forum 2025, which took place on November 7th, barely 1 month ago. Today, Patrick will give us a short summary of who did what at the forum, including 3 contributions from Carnegie Mellon: PhD candidate Jose Oros, music and technology graduate student Felix Lee, and my distinguished colleague on the School of Music faculty, Monique Mead. Patrick and I both remind you to stay alert to see if you can identify 4 short music clips of traditional Greek music as made by either real musicians or, yes, as AI creations. Please welcome Patrick Yao, who joins us from Athens, Greece, to the Music and Technology Seminar at Carnegie Mellon.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Patrick, and I'm here today to talk to you a bit about the Athens Music Technology Forum this year, which I co-founded. And before I start, of course, I would like to thank Professor Schultz for this opportunity to present at the CMU seminar. So, yeah, let's get started. Uh, so a bit about me. If I'm to summarize myself in 3 words or 3 phrases, I would say that I love music, I love computer science, and I love creating stuff. So, yeah, I've been playing the piano for a long time, and generally, I love creating music. And in the last 2 years, I've gotten into computer music and music technology as a whole. So, this event is also one of the creations that, let's say, I have done over the years. So, I'll give you a very brief introduction about Athens Music Technology Forum, or AMTF. And well, I'm gonna be very brief because the more interesting stuff are coming up later. So basically, this summer in July, I was thinking about music, technology, and AI, and the Greek culture. I live in Greece, and there is a lot of traditional Greek music that I love listening to. There is the purely technical computer science stuff that I do. So I thought of doing something that would combine them all. So music, technology, culture. And so this concept came up to me as this event, this symposium that brings together, people, whether that's industry professionals or students or researchers, professors, everyone, that cares about music or not care about music, which is unlikely, but everyone who love music to, talk about music and technology, which is something that I love doing. So, so the idea was born, and the first edition of AMTF took place last month on the 7th of November at the Athens Concert Hall, at the Yannis Marinos Hall. And we had a lot of presentations and talks and live performances by professors, musicians, and students. So its concept was to bring together people to discuss about music technology. And here are the 3 main aims of AMTF, which is basically that I wanted to achieve sort of to educate and to do some outreach about music technology to the young generation of musicians. So the idea was that, I have many friends who played music, who loved their instruments, but I think in this, digital age, it's important for us to be informed about technology. So that's the first aim. And the second aim was to, as I said before, about the Greek culture. So how can we look at music tech through the lens of technology, well, through the lens of culture and Greece. And furthermore, we wanted to create this platform that promote open discussion surrounding music technology and ethics and culture. And so this is a theme of this year's event, which is the sonic frontier, AI, and the future of music. I think the word frontier symbolizes, in this case, a transitional period between conventional past and the AI age that's brought to us less than 3 years ago. So obviously there has been lots of AI research in music tech even before this decade, but the concept of commercialized AI was really proliferated after 2022. So, and then the music tech world has transformed, has revolutionized into how it is today. So, um, so this event was meant to discuss this and discuss AI, which comes with ethical questions, with practical questions, with theoretical questions, and lots of doubt regarding the future of music. And that's something that underscores this entire event. So from now onwards, I'm gonna give you guys a very brief, not so brief, but very brief outlook at what happened during the event. And the event was divided into 6 modules that we call it. And let's go through them one by one. And the first one was Module 1, which was done by me and my co-founder, Marilia Voinas, alongside the CMU students and faculty. And this was to basically give the audience, some of them who might not have had experience in music tech, some sort of insights and introductory information about music tech. And in this module, we had collaboration with some of Carnegie Mellon's students and faculty, including Jose Oros, Monique Mead, and Felix Lee. Jose is a PhD candidate at Heinz College, and we all know Felix and we all know Monique. So let's continue with what they had to contribute at the event. So we were, and of course, I had to thank Professor Schultz again for that because I was showing him the concept of this event, and he had the idea to ask Jose and Monique and Felix to make these videos for the event. And Jose talked about generative AI and musical creativity, while Monique and Felix talk about their sound healing work, which is great because it fits into the conference theme perfectly. And so I'll play you the 2 videos that Jose and Felix and Monique made, which we played at the event. So here we go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jose Oros. I'm a PhD student at Carnegie Mellon University, and today I'm very happy to be sharing this work from afar on generative AI and musical creativity. Generative AI is easily one of the biggest disruptors in the arts right now. However, technological change in music is nothing new. For the last 20 years, technology has impacted the music industry significantly. We can go back and think about piracy, peer-to-peer sharing technology, the rise of iTunes, and then internet radio with platforms like Pandora, and streaming services in the last decade with platforms like Spotify. Now, we're seeing disruption with the development of generative AI, which raises a whole new set of questions around copyright, fairness, and the nature of art and creativity. Researchers are studying the impact of generative AI across industries and from multiple angles. How it impacts productivity, how it impacts labor markets and entry-level jobs, even everyday tasks. Research is needed to understand how it will impact creativity and creative products. As in the case of music, we not only care about productivity. Creativity and enjoyment are equally or more important. Art is a uniquely human endeavor, or at least that is how we think about it right now. It's a unique form of human expression, and artists and creatives are particularly cautious of its adoption and development for good reasons. Just recently, Guillermo del Toro, the famous Mexican filmmaker, said he'd rather die than use AI in his films, and compared its development to the creation of Frankenstein, as this monster created with multiple pieces without thinking about the consequences of its creation. On the other hand, you have artists that have fully embraced this technology and have even lent their voices to generate music, as is the case of Grimes. Even further, there are fully AI bands, such as the Velvet Sundown, which have emerged and amassed thousands of listeners on Spotify. As with previous technologies, generative AI has lowered the barriers of entry to create art. In the last 2 years, we've seen a quick development of tools that allow people, even novices with no art training, to create images, for example, in the style of Studio Gibbel. In music, with the search of models, particularly those that are text to music, people can create songs from prompts in a matter of seconds. This is the case of Udio or Suno, which can generate a song that at least has the appearance of a well-produced instrumented piece. And these songs have flooded the market. It is likely that you've listened to one. Just recently, Spotify reported removing over 75 million of AI-generated songs from their catalog. In this context, in our research, we're interested in understanding how generative AI tools, when incorporated into creative workflows, affect the art, and specifically the music that creatives make. As musicians and creatives adopt and incorporate these tools into their process, which according to some surveys, they're doing to some extent for some tasks, we're interested in understanding the downstream consequences of its adoption. We've done research to understand whether generative AI has an effect on musical creativity. In one of our recent projects, we conducted a randomized control trial with musically trained individuals, where they come in and compose an original 15-second melody in a piano. And we randomly give some participants access to Udio, the generative AI platform, to use as ideation. What we find is that participants that create melodies under the treatment condition, i.e. The AI platform, actually change the stylistic choices that they take when they compose music. It also changes how people perceive the creativity and musicality of the music, in some cases negatively. So creators need to be aware of potential trade-offs, unlimited and fast ideation versus potential effects in style and quality. More research is needed in this space. There are still a lot of open questions about the downstream consequences of the widespread adoption of generative AI technology in the creative space. Will it help enhance individual creativity at the cost of overall novelty, driven by the algorithms and the training data behind it? Or will it allow the creation of new, unique sounds? How can we best design systems that encourage co-creation, either by creating fully fledged songs or implementing other types of systems that are more ingrained in the creative workflow and speak not only natural language, but also symbolic musical language, such as the case of hookpad area, which can help you complete sheet music in a sheet? What works best and in which context? And what is the correct regulatory framework and policies that policymakers should put in place and that platforms should follow, so we maximize the advantages of such technologies while minimizing the bad things? As the American songwriter Justin Trenter puts it, songs and songwriters are the core of the entire music business. If we are protected, we can do our jobs, and the whole business suffers. Thanks for listening today. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
So that was great. That was a very interesting concept, looking at how, generative AI impacts creativity, which is so important nowadays. And then we had Monique and Felix, who talked about their sound healing work and the singing bowls that they had been developing together with technology as well. So here it is.
The number one contributing factor to any disease is stress. What if sound could move the needle in taking that out of the way? Sound healing is the practice of using sound vibration to induce and maintain deep relaxation so that the body can heal itself. We can only hear about as low as maybe 40 hertz. We can feel maybe as low as 20. But below that, at about 3 to 7 hertz, are our lowest brainwave frequency states. That's when we're in a very deeply relaxed state of consciousness. What if you could hear a sound that was at about 3 to 7 hertz? Would your brain then automatically entrain to match that? We did research. And so as a result of people voluntarily taking a survey before and after a 45-minute sound bath session, we accumulated more than 240 results that indicated this protocol was reducing perceived stress by 70% and was increasing ability to relax and focus by 80%. And so in true CMU fashion, they embraced it wholeheartedly and said, let's try it. what would happen if we did EEG and brain imaging? We could use generative AI to recreate those sounds and then tailor them to an individual's experience and make that available to anyone, anywhere. I'm developing an app right now at CMU as well that will make sound bowls available on a tablet. What if it could be used in healthcare? What if a doctor could prescribe a sound bath or a sound bath app to a person as easily as they could prescribe a drug? Imagine what life could be like if we could live in a calm and balanced body.
Monique's work reminds us that resonance begins in the body. That vibration connects sound, emotion, and people. My name is Felix Lee, and I am a music and technology student researcher here at Carnegie Mellon University. My collaboration with Monique explores how technology can extend that connection into new auditory spaces of learning and healing. For many up-and-coming sound practitioners, it's difficult to access high-quality singing bowls. They're delicate, expensive, and often collected over years of practice. The Singing Bowl training app was designed to bridge that gap, providing an accessible, interactive environment where students can train their ear, timing, and touch before working with the real instruments. Built in collaboration with Monique, the app modules the nuanced overtones of various bowls and sound healing instruments, inviting users to listen deeply and explore the balance, pacing, and the resonance, joining us in a reflective learning journey. Beyond the app, I've studied the acoustic properties of the bowls themselves, particularly the slow beating that occurs between close harmonics in the overtone series. Those pulsations inspire the sonic plunge. An up-and-coming immersive multisensory installation where spatial audio techniques like the wave-field synthesis array and audiovisual interactive projection create an environment that breathes and resonates with the listener's experience. This experience is scheduled to premiere at the 2026 Immersive Storytelling Festival, where it will translate the intimacy of a sound healing experience into our architectural journey. It is an absolute pleasure to be sharing of our work at the Athens Music and Technology Forum. To close, I'd like to invite Monique and her fellow practitioners to guide us into calmness through the soothing sound of the singing bowls.
So that was about the singing bowls and some very innovating work around singing bowls and technology. So now we have something very interesting, which is something we did at the event as well, which is which one is AI generated. So I'm gonna play you 4 clips of Greek traditional music, and 2 of them are AI generated, while 2 of them are human made. So after I play you the 4 clips, I believe a poll is gonna show up on your Zoom for you to choose which 2 are AI and which 2 are human made. So take it away.
Just to be clear,
Yeah.
the AI ones are both composed and performed by AI.
The AI ones are made in less than 2 minutes by myself at 2 in the morning by a website called Suno. So
All right.
I've given away too much information already, but let's have a try. was the second one. Now the third one. And now the last one. Okay, so um all right, how's the poll gonna work? Oh, there it is.
Should we give everyone like a minute or two to just fill out the poll?
Yeah, we can. Oh, can I play while we vote? Sure.
Yeah.
I'll play each clip for like 10 more seconds again. That's the first one. Second one. Third one. And the last one. So I think that's enough time for everyone. How do we reveal the results?
I have the results here. I can just kind of speak as to what the results are saying.
Yeah.
So we have for the first clip, 83% of people think it's AI, and the rest think it's real. For clip number 2, it's 60% real musician versus 40% AI. Clip 3 is 50-50. And clip 4 is 75% of people think it's real, and 25% think it's AI.
Okay, very interesting. But sort of what you would expect as well. So the answer is that the first two are AI, and the third and fourth are human-made. And interesting fact, the third and fourth one were actually recorded in the Haki studio a decade ago when a group of Greek musicians came to record. And yeah, but okay, we still managed to trick up some people, so that's good. Or not good. But yeah. Yeah, and that just brings us questions about, how the future of music looks with AI managing to make itself sound real, even to some musicians' ears, I guess. So then we had module 2 on jazz music and technology, presented by Mr. Underfokan, who is a Turkish jazz guitarist. And he presented about essentially his work with jazz music and how technology and AI played a role in the later stage of his career. So it was an interesting opener where he talked about how he's actually supportive of the usage of AI in musicians' careers in professional work, but also just to, gain ideas in musical creativity. So in general, he is a person who is open to technology and AI in general, even though he's mostly a jazz musician. He said that even though in the context of jazz, where improvisation is a huge thing in jazz, AI is still a bit lacking, or quite a bit lacking. But in general, he sees AI as a positive thing that can impact the music industry in the years to come. But speaking about improvisation, the next module is indeed about AI improvisation. And its title is SOMAX 2, Real-Time Improvisation with AI in Solo and Ensemble Contexts. And this was presented by Mr. Telemachos Mousas from the University of Athens, where he is a PhD candidate. He's also a guitarist, composer, and educator. And his current focus is on the creation of subversive music and avant-garde genres of music. And I thought well, you will see this later in video form, so I'm just gonna skip this. I thought I'd keep some of the slides that Mr. Musas used in the event on Somax 2, which, if you don't know about, is an app that is an AI engine that allows a human musician to interact in real time with an AI. And this app was developed at IRCAM and was made public 2 years ago. And it runs in Max MSP. And it's basically using machine learning, and it acts as a musician that listens to what a human musician is playing and then responds in sonic materials in real time. And I'll try my best to reproduce the presentation that Mr. Musas did at the event. I'll be very brief. And essentially, this application allows for musical co-creativity. And it works by listening to what a human plays, and then the AI listens, it analyzes what the AI plays, and then it responds in musical forms. And these musical forms are known as corpora, a corpus, and the corpus is some musical material that you have to pre-feed sort of to Somax 2. So it does not really synthesize sound in real time, but it does analyze musical material in real time and then respond in musically relevant, whether that's onset or harmony. It analyzes the spectrogram of the musician's input in real time. So yeah, here is a very brief description for those that are interested, but I'm just gonna skip ahead to the videos. And why this is cool, and that's because, for musicians, for me, I find it very interesting to have someone to play with, to sort of turn the knobs on a computer, to configure something that can respond to what I'm playing. And the limit is because this is something real time. AI cannot analyze something deeply. It does not have the time to do so because it needs to respond with very low latency. So just now, right now, at the moment, it's impossible to have a very coherent performance with Somax 2. But it has been explored in many performance contexts, such as jazz and new music genres. So, yeah, I'd like to play you some videos from the event that we had, including my performance as well. And for that, I have to share my screen again. All right. Can we see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So this was me on the piano in Somax, which was playing some atonal stuff. So you get the idea. And then we had a duet with my friend on the violin. I think this clip clips a little bit, but it's still listenable. So that's in ensemble context, but the limitation is that Somax 2 can only listen to one musician at a time. So it's taken my friend's input in this case, but not mine. So all I'm doing is basically to accompany her by improvising, but with one computer, you can only have one musician's input fed into Somax 2 at this time. Then we had, well, this is our solo. Then we had this instrument, which is called the musical saw. And that was very interesting for me. And you will hear Radiohead in the background. That was what Somax 2 was controlling.
Reverb, please.
So that was Mr. Moses' daughter. And lastly, we had a Chinese traditional instrument player on the guqin. So in this performance, Mr. Moses used a clone in Somax 2, which was also learning what the guqin's input in real time, and then sort of blending that in with her real-time playing. So that was the idea. And let me reshare my screen for the presentation. So, hold on. Okay, so, yeah, so Somax 2 is still being improved as an application. There is a long way to go in terms of what it can achieve, but as of the moment, I don't know what you think about Somax 2 as a musician. I don't think it's playing the music that you would, listen to on the highway, but it does create some interesting sound that maybe, exploring what music and sound can bring in the future. So then was our next module, which was...
Sorry to interrupt, Patrick. I think Professor Sullivan had a question
Yeah.
in the chat. He said, can Somax improvise with another Somax?
Oh yeah, it can actually. So if you saw on the screen, there was 4 Somax players. and you can use up to 4 at a time. And each player has what it's called an influencer, uses an influencer, and that's either an audio influencer or a MIDI influencer. And Somax 2 can either output in MIDI influencer, in MIDI or in audio. So in that case, if you want one Somax to control the other Somax, you would set, let's say, player 2, and you have player 1. Your instrument, let's say my piano, controls player 1, and then player 1 sends some output. Then you set the output of player 1 as the input of player 2, and then player 2 will respond to that. So yeah, it actually can do that. And I think it was used in the performance as well. So yeah, that's very interesting. And thank you for asking. Okay, let me fix the screen again because it's going like a different format again. So um, so continuing. So in module 4, we had a speech. Is AI democratizing or demoralizing music? And that was a very interesting speech by Mr. Bob Katsionis, which is one of the most famous metal musicians and producers in Greece. And so his speech had this more casual tone, but he was talking about how AI influenced his career and how he perceives AI in his daily work and his experience surrounding AI. So, because his speech was very interesting, I thought I'd show a very small clip from it that I found very engaging, and you will hear some nasty Greek accent, but I hope you can understand it. So let me share the video again. So he was talking about his experience in his career and how AI then came in. He talked about his first impressions on that. And he's a person that's against the use of AI, who's against the use of AI. So we had this nice contrast with the first speaker. And he brought up this very interesting concept.
What I found also in the studio was is this phenomenon. I don't know if you faced it. Every time somebody makes something, even me sometimes, or my wife, she writes like a press release, and I'm like, no, go and delete it and write one. Ah, yes, you're right. We all think it's called the IKEA effect because, I mean, I looked it up. It's not that I'm not so, informed, but I looked it up, and this is called the IKEA effect because AI gives you the impression that you make something, you build something yourself. Like when you buy this table and you build it yourself. Maybe you are with your girlfriend, your husband, and you build a nice sofa, and it's a Christmas morning, and then you have a nice experience over a mediocre product. And this is what's happening. It's a mediocre product. It's something of bad quality. And the music, it sounds like this, but it's not. It's mediocre quality. And people cannot understand that yet, that it's some companies selling something. Like Suno, it's like 10 euros per month. And all these companies, they charge you. And they give you a mediocre product that you spend some time and you write the prompt, you write it again, and you feel.
So you get the idea. And I found that interesting, and that was very nice contrast with the first speaker, of course. And then he talked about how, that we as humans are the most powerful AI that's created, that, we should prioritize our own creativity over something made by a machine. And yeah, so that question also leaves it to us to understand. Okay, then. Moving on, we had Module 5. Okay, actually here we had the presentation of Mr. Katsionis, and he was also talking about AI-generated album covers, which is another whole story. Yeah, and your brain is the best AI you'll ever own. That was his concluding remark. Moving on to Module 5, The Rise of AI Singing in the Music Industry, Sounding Shadows in Plato's Cave. This was presented by Dr. Anastasia Yorgaki from the University of Athens. And so this speech was more of an academic perspective at AI, of course, a very technical speech about her perspective from her research area, which is sing voice synthesis in AI, and how AI is doing its job in terms of vocals. So I also kept her presentation in. It's very lengthy, and I'm not gonna talk about the details, and it's quite geeky as well at some point. But you just see how much technology goes into, even basic, well, this is not basic, but music tech products. And so, yeah, you have neural networks, you have all that, which I'm gonna skip, and come to this page, which is her connection from AI to a philosophical concept, which is actually happens to be one of the most famous ones in ancient Greek philosophy, which is the allegory of Plato's cave. And so she made this metaphor that, well, I don't know how to phrase it accurately, but how, we still have the cavers and those that are outside the cave, and how, AI may possibly let us. Well, her analysis was that at this point in time, AI generated music, at least in terms of vocals, is inconsistent. So while some runs produce very realistic and high fidelity vocal products, some others fail to meet that standard. So then she linked it to this concept, and she also talked about the ethical issues that we have considering AI and music. And that was very interesting. Bringing us to the last module on Medusa Insomno, the making of a composition for cello and live electronics. So this is a very non-AI module, but I believe it was a good closer because it showed a very significant contrast with the rest on a piece of composition that was composed in 2019 for cello and live electronics in Max MSP, which forms part of the larger genre of music known as electroacoustic music, presented by Konstantinos Karathanasis, who is a professor at the University of Oklahoma. So I actually heard this composition for the first time when I was in Austria this summer at the Sound and Music Computing Conference, where they had concerts. And so I heard this piece live, and they had this whole ambisonic concert hall and the live sound was incredible. So I reached out to Dr. Karathanasis later on just to ask him some questions about how this piece is implemented. But he actually expressed his interest to travel all the way from the US to his hometown, obviously, to present his work at the event. So we had this module, and it's great because he takes inspiration in his compositions from Greek mythology, from these ancient Greek archetypes, and this whole piece of Medusa Insomno is basically about Medusa's story in the Greek mythology. So that is very important. So during the performance, we had Ilya Tiliakou on the cello, and after his presentation, he moved back to the mixer to control Max MSP. So yeah, I'm gonna be brief with this as well because this is talking about technical stuff and compositional stuff, and obviously the background of this composition. It's a 12-minute performance, and this is how the piece is implemented live. The sandbox in Max MSP. and the live sound processing that's done on the cello's input. So what is actually very interesting, especially if you're a string player, is the score of this piece. And it's not something that you would expect. It's not a normal score for sure. But I was shocked when I saw the score for the first time. So if there's any string players here or anyone who reads the score, actually, you'll find this quite shocking. So to conclude today's presentation, I'm just gonna play a small clip from the performance. So this is the start. And the climax. So yeah, that was the performance. And that brings us to the end of the presentation. And I believe that Jose is present here today. So Jose, I don't know if you wanted to share your thought or two that about anything you want. Or has he left?
Well, I'm right
Oh,
here.
there he is.
No,
Yeah.
well, I just want to say that this is great work that you just did. Like it's very impressive. Carrying out this conference. I found it very interesting. And now that I'm seeing like the big picture and every of the topics that you presented, it's super interesting. So Not more to add than me. You heard a little bit of my projects. If anyone's interested, please reach out. But I just want to, give you kudos to you because it's very nice. I think that the themes are very relevant, and it was very nice to see all this mix of expertise together. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you for your video. I don't think Felix and Monique are here today.
Monique is
So, oh, she is. Okay. Hi, Monique.
Hello.
Uh, so what did you think?
It's wild. It's nothing like nothing I've ever seen. So very, very interesting. And the score actually looks simpler than reading sheet music. I've
Yeah.
and but it was really I'm really impressive actually that you put together something like that and put it out there. So congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And did you want to talk about, your work surrounding sound healing as well? Because I think that's
I
something
do. I
cool.
mean, we have a project next semester in my entrepreneurship class. It's called a sonic plunge, and this is something that Felix sort of is spearheading. But the idea is technology meets transcendence. So it's sort of stepping into the future of relaxation. There is a CMU has a Sona Immersive Storytelling Festival, April 2nd to 4th. And so essentially we're creating an installation there that is like a 15-minute multi-sensory installation. And the experience sort of blends like trance-inducing sound, and that's something that I'm a specialist in. Imagery, like images on ceilings and walls, scent, haptics that you'll feel in your body, into like this fully automated deep dive meditation that sort of bends your mind and has you come out just a little different, hopefully more relaxed. So what we're looking for really is a team of students that are in music tech, HCI, CS, design, art, maybe even a management student, etc. Anybody who's really curious about, like sound immersion and altered states of perception. If you want to be on that team, it's going to be, I'll be sort of putting you onto a project course in the entrepreneurship department, and we have more information about that that we can send out through Ricardo.
Yeah, that's great. It's a really cool idea as well for your work. So, thank you everyone. And if anyone would like to, ask questions about the presentations, about the event, or, give suggestions for if it happens next year, what could we do? So, yeah, I see
Well, any
some messages.
additional comments, questions?
Yeah, Patrick, are these videos, full videos of some of the talks available to be viewed? You said there was a lot of technical content. Some of us are interested in that technical content.
Yeah. So actually, we're gonna put the entire recording of the event on YouTube. But what you heard, the audio is not mixed yet because and it was coming out of the microphone of the camera. I don't think it was bad, but I need to mix it from also the speaker's output and then with the mixer's output and then put it on YouTube. And I think there are some shorter clips already on YouTube. No, I haven't uploaded them. So I'll do that probably next week. And I'll put a link as well to our website in case anyone is interested.
Hey, Patrick, this is Nick Flahakis. That was a great
Yeah,
presentation.
hi, Nick.
Appreciate it. I kind of disappointed myself as a Greek. I didn't score very well on the AI and the real musicians. And I've listened to a lot of Greek music over the decades that I've been on Earth. So I got to go back and figure that out somehow.
Yeah, but
it was a good experiment.
Yeah, it was a good experiment. But obviously, you haven't lived in Greece for I don't know how many years, so maybe that changes something.
No, I actually was born in the U.S., but they brought Greece to the U.S. Many places here. So anyway,
yeah,
I enjoyed that. It was very good.
Thank you very much.
My
And
wife was
actually,
here
if
to
I,
say my wife was here to say hello. She's an iconographer actually, and she has a project going on,
all
so she
right.
had to leave. But she said hello and thank you. She sat through the front part of your presentation.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, say hi to her as well. But yeah, about your AI point, if I actually used pop music, which is what Suno is best at the moment, it would probably be even harder to tell apart. But it also shows probably that the recording quality was really good on the CMU Vlahakis studio recordings because it was hard to tell the difference for some people. Any other questions?
Roger, you must have a comment.
Yeah, well, I was just about to say on recording quality, like all of, oh, so I didn't do great on the poll either, but the quality over Zoom is pretty bad. So, I think that's one possible telltale for Suno. If you can, listen carefully,
Yeah.
Suno audio quality is really poor by studio standards. So it should have been it could have been a giveaway, but in a sense, it's better to listen to everything distorted so that you don't have that giveaway, and then you can focus on what Suno actually accomplishes. And it is pretty amazing. Oh, and another thought, people might or might not know, Suno was on the #1 on the country charts with Billboard last week.
Oh God.
Which is, and if you haven't heard the Suno piece, I mean, it's the most, it's like almost a parody of country stereotypes. So it's pretty amusing to listen to. But in terms of music and musical gesture and voice, expressive singing voice and everything, it is really amazing and surprising how well it
Digital
does.
downloads, though, not the more conventional charts.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. I was wondering about that. Yeah, and yeah, another thing. Apparently, you can be #1 in country downloads or whatever they measured with like 75,000 downloads, which could have been done by a botnet. It's not actually a big
yeah.
number. So, but we can gripe about it all or uh, be very skeptical as much as we want, and we should be. But on the other hand, if you just listen to the song and think about where audio, polyphonic audio music synthesis and production was
Yeah.
even a few years ago, it's really startling what a leap forward this is.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta
I,
wonder if the stadium parking lot is going to get trashed from the tailgating when the AI country band comes to town this time.
yeah.
It'll all be self-driving Teslas. No,
That's
no one,
happening probably
no
sooner
people will
than,
actually show up.
yeah. But I'm also wondering about the AI song that you said was on the Billboard. Did that get on the Billboard because that it was actually that good, or because people heard about it and then went to listen to it and that made it more popular?
Yeah,
Is that
I think, I mean, I'm not an expert on this, but from looking around and what I gathered is it's posted under a name. So a lot of people I think don't know, and also I think that name actually has quite a following from
mm,
previous posts. So it's complicated.
yeah. No, and Spotify, they have these algorithms that push certain songs more than the others. And probably
Yeah.
that particular song just kind of fitted what Spotify considers a good song that people would like and then just recommend it more or something like that. And yeah,
Yeah,
for the audio quality, yeah, continue.
that could be too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess for Suno, if they can get users to pay Suno to listen to music that Suno doesn't have to pay royalties on. It's a win for Suno.
It is. Yeah.
It's kind of sad, actually, that Suno. Well, I mean, as a researcher, it's great that researcher hired a bunch of music information retrieval people and scientists, but it's kind of sad that they did that in order to stop paying musicians. So,
Of course,
Yeah.
Spotify pays such paltry royalties to the musicians to start with that they probably aren't making that much money off of it anyway, even if they.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But amazing that apparently they believe the paltry royalties they'd have to pay would add up to enough to pay for some highly compensated PhDs doing deep network research.
Well, maybe a lot of other uses for what they're producing, though, besides just making music too. So
Yeah, maybe they're planning to branch out. Who knows?
Yeah.
yeah, the whole popularity by Spark thing with social media is kind of fascinating, I mean, I guess people have always suggested songs to their friends and suggested songs to their friends, but now with social media, this stuff can kind of go viral
Yeah. It's
just very quickly. One person grabs it and does their TikTok, and then lots of people grab the same thing. My son's girlfriend's an artist, and she's doing her own stuff, and she's just in the last 2 weeks, some of her stuff has had this like ignited popularity on TikTok from this very same thing. One fairly
Yeah.
big artist really liked one of her tunes, and then all these people just jumped on the bandwagon
Reposted it. That was
and just
he
went
did.
crazy. So I don't know. I don't visit that space very often, so I don't know how it all works, but it is pretty amazing what a difference it can make with you get this popular wave from hearing
Yeah.
things and pushing things along. I don't think it's like discriminating listening or anything like that. So, the sound quality probably isn't really much of a factor in what people
Yeah.
are hearing.
Yeah, and nowadays it's like virtually impossible to start as independently as a singer-songwriter and then get huge without the help of social media or some sort of content getting really popular on TikTok or Instagram or the likes. Like my friend who is trying to become a singer-songwriter without much success so far. He's trying his best and he's posting on social media obviously. And if I if you ask me, it's a good song, but it's just not getting the social media attention that he wants and not getting that coverage. And so, well, his first song, which has a few thousand streams, has paid him less than $1. So it's the world that we live in right now, I think, and I don't know, because
Well,
I'd love to, you know.
her story is really interesting because she was approached this summer by a couple companies, independent labels, to
Oh
sign
yeah.
her, and she locked in with one, and they've been dragging their feet just with the contract because they didn't think they had to
Yeah.
rush. Well, in the last 2 weeks with this stuff blowing up, she's now got all this collateral that like because they never signed her, they've had to up their offer because a bunch of other people have jumped into the fold now, and now she's getting interest from lots of other people too. So it can be a you snooze you lose kind of situation as well. That's how quickly these things change. I mean, literally in the last 2 weeks, it just went crazy. And if they had signed her,
Yeah.
right away, a month ago or whatever, 2 months ago when they started this, they wouldn't be in this position, but now they've had to really up their offer to her, which is good for her, but it's just,
Sounds like you should be her new manager.
yeah, that's not my bag at all. I'd be a terrible music manager.
Well, you already got
But she is, she
you
does
already got
have a man. She
competition.
has had to go out and get a manager now and all this, and now she's got to think about, touring or latching onto tours and all this stuff that,
Yeah.
wasn't really in her wheelhouse before. It's a big snowball. But
It
But I guess
is.
the
And
AI
it's
guys don't have to worry about touring, right? Until people want to see them, right? So
yeah. Is it gonna get banned though? Because there were some regulations, I think, a couple of months back about AI generated media, including music, in commercialized settings. And the Velvet Sound Down band that was mentioned in the event, it got pretty huge with just AI music. So
Do
I
you put a
really don't
cover band
know.
together to just play their songs for them, all these AI songs that have been put together so people can see them live? I don't know
Yeah,
what you
no, that
do.
was just online. That was it. Just Spotify, and the algorithm did its magic. But nowadays it's also like you win some, you lose some. Because if you want to stay independent, it's a way steeper road ahead. But if you sort of let your record company take over you, then you grow faster. But there's so much. Well, they have expectations of what you are making as well, so you can't be fully free in terms of what you're creating, which is really sad. So that's my thought.
So, Tom, can you bring her into the Vlahakis recording studio and make a CD?
Yeah, you know what? She sits in my guitar recording room here every day and just does her own stuff. She is a producer in LA. They fly stuff back and forth. And she doesn't even, she has a interface and a looper and you know, one mic and plays guitar and does all this and does the stuff herself. Crazy.
Yeah, that's great. Well, if you send her social media, we'll go support her for sure.
James the
And
Seventh. Look up James the Seventh. That's her.
James the
James the
seventh.
Seventh. One word. That's what she goes by.
Yeah, I got to run, everybody.
Okay.
Thanks,
Okay.
thanks
Yeah,
for the presentation.
yeah. Thank you much, Dr. Dannenberg, for
Thank you
showing
so
up.
much for doing this, Patrick. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. It was super fun.
Yeah, this is very impressive, Patrick, to put this together as a high schooler. It's unbelievable. So, are you applying here, I hope?
Yep. And this weekend I submitted my CMU application. So, well, the answer should be of course, because yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah,
Okay.
sounds great.
Thank you once again.
Thank you so much.